Hi everyone, I'm Jessica Stutzman and welcome back to the Mill Creek Government Channel. The Northwest Pennsylvania Canine Search and Rescue Team is a volunteer group that is dedicated to assisting public safety agencies in finding missing people. Joining us today to talk about this special organization is the president, Louie Gotti. Louie, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us. We're very excited to be here.
Yes, well, we're excited to have you back. We're very excited to be back in the studio today, and we are socially distancing, and so you can see our formatting's a little bit different than it has been in the past. But Louie, your team is on call 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Can you tell me how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected your daily operations?
Sure. It's definitely been interesting. We actually, while we were during the lockdown, we had to not train during that time. So there was probably about a 6-week period there where we weren't going out and training. We generally train every Sunday. So that was a big difference for us. Once we were able to move into the yellow and green phases, then we have been able to get out and do more trainings. But our daily operations, as far as our business meetings, we're still conducting those types of things virtually because of the social distancing and number of people allowed in a room and those kinds of things. We've also not been able to do as much fundraising. Our primary fundraising during the year is going to Walmart and standing outside asking for money, and obviously we can't do that right now. So we are trying to be more creative. We've gone virtual with our 5K this year. So we're kind of going with the flow and dealing with the guidances and changes from the CDC and trying to do the best we can and be flexible.
Mm-hmm. How have practices changed? You know, I'm sure handlers are wearing masks. Can the dogs still hear you as easily when you're doing things like that?
Mostly if we have masks on, it's more so whenever we're in close proximity to each other or where we can't social distance. We're primarily training outside anyways, so we're able to social distance and going out in smaller groups. You know, you have somebody hiding, you have one person with you. We're not going out in large numbers out in the field and that kind of thing. So we will try and do as much as that as we can, but the dogs, they don't care if we have a mask on or not. That is one thing that really hasn't fazed them, which is good. So none of the dogs have seemed to have, you know, reacted to the fact that people are wearing masks. So,
have you received any calls you had to go out on for missing persons during the pandemic?
We've actually had quite a few this year. We're about on par with what we normally get as far as calls go. Our most recent one was probably about a couple weeks ago. We were down at Conneaut Lake for the drowning victim there. So we assisted with that call. And we had a few other calls for missing people as well that we've gone out on. So we're still busy. So we still need to be out there training and making sure that our skills are up to par. But we're still out there.
Yeah, so just because the pandemic hit and everyone quarantined doesn't mean that you were had any less to do. You still were active.
Yes.
I follow your organization on Facebook, and you guys recently posted something about fireworks. And although the 4th of July is over, there seems to be no shortage of fireworks going off in the neighborhoods right now. So is there, again, just based off of that post, is there something we can do to help our furry family members during fireworks or during thunderstorms?
The biggest thing with that is, you know, keeping your animal inside if at all possible. If they are super sensitive to those noises and sounds and you're worried that they're going to run off, you know, go outside with them, put them on a leash to do, you know, their business outside or take them for walks and keep them comfortable. What we do, Zoe can be sensitive to the fireworks and to storms, so we'll actually turn up the TV and make it a little louder so it drowns out that noise for her. She likes to hang out in the basement anyways. It's nice and cool down there, so a lot of times she'll go down there and hang out and just be aware of that. And like I said, just keep them safe so, going outside with them is helpful as well.
I closed my windows. We don't use air conditioning a lot, so we decided to close the windows, and our dog likes to sleep in our bedroom, so at night that's when they're going off. So we closed the windows, and I turned on like meditation music. I thought that would help drown out the fireworks. So that was my go-to during this month of July here. Your organization covers a lot of ground in Northwest PA, so you're not restricted to just Erie County. How are you dispatched, and what other counties do you service besides Erie County?
Sure. We're actually dispatched through Crawford County 911 Center. That's our primary number that we use. If you go to our Facebook page or our website, you'll see the 1-800 number there, and that goes through them. We cover Erie, Crawford, Warren, Venango, Forest, and Mercer counties. So we do cover a large area. We're also part of the Pennsylvania Search and Rescue Conference. So that is throughout the state of Pennsylvania, so we could potentially be called elsewhere in the state. We do go to calls on a fairly regular basis down near Pittsburgh for some mutual aid for teams that are down that way. And we're also part of the Appalachian Search and Rescue Conference, which covers the Mid-Atlantic region, so Pennsylvania, Ohio, Maryland, West Virginia, Virginia, Delaware, and so we have the potential to travel even further. At times we can be called to assist some of those teams as well.
You guys have a lot of driving to do.
We do.
How many calls do you think come in any one given year?
We average about 15 to 20 calls a year. At this point, I think we're up to, 11 or 12 for the year. So this is primarily our busy season. Once the weather starts to get nicer and people are outside more, we tend to get more calls starting spring into the summer. And then in the fall, we get the occasional missing hunter, lost hunter. So winter is usually pretty quiet.
We have your canine team member here with us, Zoe, and Zoe's a border collie. I love it when you bring her with you to the studio. What type of, what specialization does Zoe have within the organization? Because I do know that there are 3 different types of search dog disciplines for your group.
Yes, Zoe's actually unique in that she is actually dual handled by myself and my husband. So I am certified, her and I are certified in trailing through the International Police Work Dog Association. So that's typically where you see on the TVs, the dog is smelling a piece of clothing and they're on lead and they're then searching for the person looking for their trail that they walked. She's also certified with my husband in human remains detection, both on land and in water. And on land, she's at the forensic level, so finding very minute things that could be out there as far as like blood or a tooth or just some small trace evidence that might be out there. So he's also certified with her through the International Police Work Dog Association for those 2 disciplines as well.
That's just so incredible to me how we can, humans can partner with canines to do such remarkable work. I mean, I think it's incredible that they can find, like you said, just very small pieces of bone fragment and help us in our searches. And the cadaver dogs, I always think that's just very interesting. They can find missing persons who are buried, elevated, on the surface, or underwater. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And there's a lot of skin cells that we shed and smells that we shed that the dogs detect. Is that correct?
So with live scent versus human remains, I always say that all people smell different, but all dead people smell the same. So they emit those gases and those types of smells that come off that are all the same, but with each of us, we smell different based on what we're using for our shampoo, what we're eating, all those types of things. So there's a different levels of smells that whenever you come to the cadaver end of things, to very faint to very strong, depending on what the source is.
Okay. I know for your organization that really any type of breed of dog is welcome, as well as purebred dogs, sheltered dogs. How would a dog owner who is watching our show right now, who is interested in volunteering their time and perhaps thinks that their dog might be a good fit for this, what are the right qualities to look for or personality traits to look for in your dog?
Sure. We're looking for working dogs. So we're looking for those dogs that need a job. They are constantly getting into things. They are, using their nose and need to be busy. We look at those working breeds, primarily your herding dogs, your working sport dogs, those types of breeds that are generally looking for jobs anyways, or are bred to do that. And not to say that, shelter dogs can't do that, but there's, some things to look for whenever you're looking at a dog from a shelter, because you don't know the lineage of the breed or the dog specifically. So sometimes that can be hit or miss, depending on the dog. Yeah, we're definitely looking for dogs that are on the go and need something to do.
Need their job.
Yes.
How long did it take you to get Zoe trained in one particular dog discipline, and how long did it take to get trained in 2 dog disciplines?
Sure. It generally takes about 2 years to get to the point where you're ready to start thinking about certifying with your dog. And we always recommend that we get certified and proficient in one discipline before moving on to the other. With her, we started her at 8 weeks. So, as soon as we got her for the purposes of search and rescue. So we knew that was what we were doing with her. And so then, like I said, it took a couple years to get to the point where she was ready to certify. I recently just started handling her, probably within the past 3 years. So my husband kind of did the foundations with the trailing, and then I stepped in and was able to kind of move faster with that because she already had those basics, and then get to the point that she was certified. But she picked up on everything very quickly. She's super smart. She's a border collie, so she definitely picked up on it quickly and was able to make it look easy. So, which is always nice for the handler end of thing.
And you can tell Zoe wants to get out in the field right now. She's done with our show today.
This is not her forte, but she's here. So.
No, she's doing a very good job. How many handlers do you currently have that are active? And like you said, you would have practices with a lot of people, but now you've dwindled that down. So how many people do you have in your organization, and do you need more?
We currently have 31 members total. We have 8 of those are canine handlers. We have about 10 that are search responders, and then we have the rest, approximately 12 or 13, that are auxiliary members. So those are just helping out with PR events, fundraising, but aren't going on search calls and generally don't come to trainings or anything like that. We're always looking for new members. We are all volunteers, so understanding that it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. You're away, primarily on Sundays when we're training. We're out there for a solid 7 or 8 hours doing our training. So it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, but it can be very rewarding as well.
Absolutely, and I know that everybody, all of the handlers, care very passionately for their pets, and there are, risks of, dangers certainly of the dogs being in the field. Something as simple as just getting a pricker in their foot, or something, more than that. But how do you mitigate those dangers, and how do you have the dogs practice or handle those dangers, either during practice or in the field?
Sure. We expose them to a lot of different things. We actually do some agility work with them, so getting used to being up on things that move, climbing over things, through things, around things, and with that also making sure that they're moving with purpose and slow versus just crashing through something. Sometimes, depending on the dog, that can be easy or hard, but letting them be exposed to those things so that they are confident and be able to move through those types of obstacles with ease. Obviously, there's prickers out there, there's sticks out there, things that, they can potentially be injured by, holes. So whenever we come back out from a task, we always check check them over, make sure, there's nothing, stuck in their paws or in their fur, especially with all the briars and things, brushing them out, checking for ticks, those types of things. But really, it can be hard because with a working dog, they can become injured and you don't know it because they're still wanting to work. So definitely taking that time at the end to check them over, make sure that nothing is bothering them, because they won't necessarily tell you because they still want to do their job.
Yes, they do hide it well. When they are injured, sometimes you don't pick up on it right away. I know my dog has been injured and wanted to keep going, and I do look for the little subtle hints that they give. Your organization does more than just train for canine search and rescue. You do a lot of things for the community. Can you touch on some of those things?
Sure. We do a lot of outreach, so we try to touch base with local fire and police departments to let them know, how we can assist them in the event that somebody goes missing. We just recently did a presentation for a Boy Scout group, so we go out and talk to them about what search and rescue is, what to do if you get lost, and explain how the dogs work, and going out to different organizations. We've gone to church groups and community groups, and just spread the word about who we are, what we do, and the fact that we are all volunteer and we're a nonprofit agency. So we are always looking for fundraising opportunities and those types of things as well.
Can you share with us, and I know you shared one from over during the pandemic here, this again, like you said, this is all volunteer work, and I know it's very rewarding, when you and the dog both accomplish the goal that you've set out to do. Can you share with us some success stories that you've had recently with you and Zoe?
Sure. We recently had a call a couple months ago that was actually Zoe's first trailing find. So we got called out by the state police, and we were able to utilize the person's car that was there as our scent article, and she was able to pick up the trail and locate where that person had gone in pretty quick fashion. We were probably only there maybe an hour, and had that find for the family. So
that's wonderful. And what does Zoe do when she does find the object she's looking for? I guess the person she's looking for. What's her way to indicate that?
So she'll lay down whenever she gets to the person. She does a down, and it's very dramatic. And then she's staring at me like, okay, give me my toy now. So she actually has a flying squirrel, chewy kind of frisbee-like toy that is one of her favorite toys. So that's her reward whenever she finds the person she's looking for.
That's fantastic. She's so cute here in the studio. I can't stop staring at her. There are obviously expenses incurred by your organization, organizationally, and again for each of the dogs. I know myself how expensive it is to own a dog. Is there funding available for your organization to do what it does?
We don't fall under like the same category as like fire department, so there's not any like state or federal funding necessarily that is earmarked for search and rescue. So that's where our fundraising comes in. We have been lucky with the ERG, the Emergency Response Group here in Erie County has helped us with some of the items that we needed to purchase and some of the trainings that we've had, some of the seminars that we've been able to host for our team with part of those monies, which has been really great for our team. But primarily it's either through fundraising or out of pocket personally.
So what can our viewers do then? Again, I just love your mission. I think one year you guys were selling the corded bracelets. You guys were selling those. What can our viewers do to support your organization and your mission?
Sure. Actually, we have several different fundraising opportunities coming up here in the near future. And we're actually starting to think about a couple other virtual options because we have to be creative. So be on the lookout for those types of things as well.
And if anyone is interested in volunteering their time, it's my understanding that they don't need to own a canine in order to do that. Is that correct?
Correct. And honestly, it's if you don't have a canine, but you think you want to get a dog, I would say come out, check us out, see if it's something that first you want to do or you can commit to. There's a lot of people skills that you need to know: map and compass, GPS, navigation, knots, ropes. The list goes on and on and on. And so if you're able to come out and get those skills out of the way first, and then say, okay, now I feel comfortable in my skills, I can see about getting a dog, and then we can help you with picking out, the dog that would best suit you for what you want to do for that as well. So there's always lots of things to learn.
Yes, and your contact information, one more time, how can people get a hold of you?
Sure, if you want to shoot us an email, we're info@nwpaknine.sar.org, or you can shoot us a Facebook message on our Facebook page, and we can get back to you that way as well.
Louie, thank you so much for you and Zoe joining me here in the studio today. And I really want to tell you how much we appreciate what you both do and what your organization does for the community. It's just really fantastic.
Thank you. We appreciate your support, and we love the fact that we get to come out and talk to you and let the public know that we exist and what we do.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Viewers, this was a great show here today. And again, just because we are in a pandemic and a lot of us are staying home doesn't mean that emergencies still aren't happening, and that the Northwest PA Canine Search and Rescue Group, they need your support, especially during a time like this. I encourage you to go to their website and to reach out to them, attend their fundraisers. I want to thank you for tuning into the Mill Creek Government Channel, and until next time, have a great day.